Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 5 of my best tips for tomorrow's racing. Now before we get stuck into that, I just want to recap on how our selections performed today. In the end, we have come out with a profitable day, as our nap locker room talk was a nice winner at Kempton. We advertised him at 7-1 each way last night. I know that price didn't stick around for too long and he was quite well supported. I think his final SP in the end was 9-2, but there was quite a bit of 5-1, 11-2 throughout today. So if you're able to get that, that still would have been a fair priced winner for you there. Away from that, however, our other two selections were slightly disappointing, lightly squeezed. I thought he was maybe a little bit unlucky in the running, but looking back at it now, I just think he bumped into a couple of class horses with the likes of So Royale and Ballyandy today. He was checked in against the inside when they were just turning into the home straight, which didn't help him. He got a little bit shuffled about, which probably stopped him at least challenging for a place, but I don't think he probably would have finished in the first four in the end. But like I said, you don't know if he'd got maybe a little bit of a clearer passage. So lightly squeezed, I think you can forgive him that run, and he's not one to give up on later on this season. And the other selection, Talingi, in Durham National, the less said about him the better, as he was very well beaten in the end. But if you just backed all three tips today, you would have come out with a bit of profit thanks to our nap, and that means I think now we are in profit for October. It's been a long road to get there. We've had a disappointing start to the month, but in the last week or so we have really picked up. Obviously we had a 16-1 winner on Saturday of Glen Shiel, and then also as well a 7-1 winner today. So we are starting to be amongst the winners now, and hopefully the form can continue for the rest of this month. So let's get stuck into the tips for tomorrow. We've got 5 tips tomorrow, and there's quite a lot of horses I fancy to go very well tomorrow. So hopefully we can have a good day. And we're going to be starting with my nap, which runs in the 220 at Pontefract, where I'm going with a horse here called Stag for Holly Doyle and Archie Watson, one of our favourite combinations at the moment, obviously with Glen Shiel at the weekend. But going back to this horse, Stag, we've actually put him up a couple of times this season. I remember we actually napped him when he won at Catterick back in August, and he was a very cosy winner that day. Okay, I don't think the form really amounted to too much. I don't think there was nothing really lurking in there that would have threatened him that day, but the way he did it and absolutely bolted up in testing ground suggested that this horse could be a class above, and probably still I think has a little bit more to come. After that he went on to win his next start at Goodwood, and okay, the form hasn't really worked out too well apart from the Max We Can. Did finish second behind Ocean Wind in the Cesarevich trial. I still think Staghorn has been very progressive and still has a lot more to come. He's still only 3 years old, and in this race tomorrow at Pontefract he's going to be running in a conditions race, so it means that he's going to be bumping into some older horses and it's not a handicap. However, in theory though, he is going to be getting £9 from his main market rival, and also as well probably the one he does have to beat, and that's the Grand Vizier, who's the current favourite for Ian Williams. But looking at Staghorn, I don't think there's no reason why he can't beat him. The Grand Vizier hasn't got necessarily that strong form in really testing ground, whereas Staghorn, he seems to appreciate a bit of juice in the ground, and I think there's a lot more to come from him, and that £9 could make all the difference. Also as well, Staghorn, he likes to get to the front, he likes to be prominent and race handy, and if he does get an easy lead tomorrow and start setting the fractionals, he might just have a bit too much zest for this field, and he's starting to improve now. Archie Watson's horses as well have started to pick up a little bit. Okay, they haven't had too many runners, but they've had a couple of winners this weekend, obviously with Glen Shiel winning at Ascot on Champions Day, and also as well he had a winner in Ireland today. So the form of the stable is picking up a little bit. You can currently back this horse at 7-4, and I'm going to be putting him up as my nap tomorrow. I think he's got solid credentials, and I think actually come post time he could go off favourite. So that is going to be my nap of the day tomorrow, Staghorn in the 220 at Pontefract. We then go for a bit of jumping at Plumpton for the next best in the 340, and this nearly made it as my nap, but I do fancy this horse to go very well tomorrow, and that's a horse called Gateway to Europe for Bryony Frost and Neil King. You can currently back this horse at 7-2 at the time of recording. Now this horse looks very well treated off his handicap mark of 123 over fences. He made his chase debut at Fontwell last time out when we saw him back in August and even though he finished second in a 3-run field, the form couldn't have worked out any better. The winner that day was a horse of Jamie Snowden's, who's really improved over fences, and that's Galore for, like I said, Jamie Snowden. And Galore went on to win at Exeter in his next start in a competitive handicap, and is now rated 138. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good boosting of the form there. And also as well, Getaway to Europe beat Getaway Trump very easily that day. Getaway Trump just never showed. However, Getaway Trump did go on to win at Warwick on his next start over fences, and beat a fair type in Zoffi. So I think that the form looks pretty strong there, and off a mark of 123, I think he has a bit more to come. Now, a lot of these horses tomorrow, they're going to lack a recent run, and also as well, I think they could be a little bit high in the weights. And Gateway to Europe, sorry, get confused with my gateways and getaways. Gateway to Europe, I think he's going to come forward for that run at Funwell over fences. I think it was a nice debut effort, and he has a lot more to come. And this is a novice's handicap chase tomorrow he's going to be running in. And there's a few in here, like I said, that just need the run or might be slightly high in the weights. And the good thing about Gateway to Europe as well, he'll really like the ground. The key to him is good ground, and also as well, he is a course winner. So that's another tick in the box. And if Bryony can get him out front, he likes to be a prominent racer. If he can get him out in front and jump well and put pressure on the others in their jumping departments, I think Gateway to Europe could go very well tomorrow. So for me, at 7-2, I think this horse has got a solid chance. He's well handicapped on his form so far, and what he's shown over fences. Okay, it's only been one run, but you'd like to think he might have a few pounds to play off his mark of 123. So that's going to be the next best tomorrow, and fingers crossed we can get a winner there. We then go across the RFC with an extra tip in the 505 at Gowran Park with a horse called Wolf Prince for Gary Carroll and Gavin Cromwell. Now this horse on his hurdle form could be thrown in off his flat mark of 77. Now if we go through some of his form from last season, he was running in juvenile hurdles, and some good juvenile hurdles at that. He actually split Cerberus and Wave of the Sea in the Grade 1 juvenile hurdle at the Dublin Racing Festival at Leopardstown earlier this year. So on that form, he could be very well handicapped off a mark of 77. He also as well bolted up a couple of times. He won a race at Ferryhouse in testing conditions by a wide margin that day. Okay, probably didn't beat much, but at least we know he'll be able to handle the ground at Gowran tomorrow. He's currently off on the soft side, and I think actually, like I said, he is fairly well treated. Now he will have to give weight away to a couple of maybe improvers. He's got a Willie Mullins candidate in there and an Aidan O'Brien horse he will have to beat, but I just think he could be a classy horse in this field. And if you go back through some of his flat form when he was with Amy Murphy, he doesn't look too badly treated. He finished second at Catterick and testing ground before. So I just think, yeah, he's got a lot in his favour tomorrow, and if he's anywhere near that level that he's shown over hurdles of a mark of 77, he could be very dangerous. And you currently back Wolf Prince at 4-1. I'm just going to recommend a win-only bet. He's going to be one of my extra tips tomorrow, and hopefully we can have a winner across the RSC. We then go with the Longshot, which runs in the 5-10 at Plumpton, the last race on the card there tomorrow. And we're going with a horse here called Kentford Mallard for Daniel Sampson, claiming 3, riding for his boss, Seamus Mullins. Now, Seamus Mullins, okay, he's only had one winner from his last 8 runners, but some of his horses have been running well, and he's a trainer that I like. He's quite a good trainer, I think, with his ammunition. Has had some nice horses in the past, and this horse, Kentford Mallard, is from a family he knows really well. And tomorrow, I think the reason this horse could potentially go well is A, it's very well handicapped. It's now down to a mark of 96, one off 99 a couple of years ago at the course on good ground, so that's a positive too. And also as well has been running in a lot better races than this race tomorrow. This is a Class 5 mare's handicap, and some of her runs have been in slightly higher grade, so she's taking on lesser animals tomorrow in this race. And if you look at some of her, like I said, some of her earlier form, she has shown quite a bit of ability for a low level grades of racing. But yeah, Kentford Mallard tomorrow, another key to her is the fact she's going to be stepping up in trip tomorrow. She's going to be tackling 3 miles for the first time in her career. And even though, yes, she hasn't run over that tomorrow, there's every chance that she could easily get it. If you look from the family, like I said, Seamus Mullins does well with this family. This horse is actually a half-sister to a horse called Kentford Grey, who won over 3 miles, and also as well as a half-sister to Water Wagtail, who I remember a few years ago, he's a bit of an old boy now, was winning over 3 miles for Emma Lavelle. So yeah, there's a lot to like about this horse's chances tomorrow to run a good race. And this horse, you can currently back her at 11-1 with 4 places at the moment with the likes of Skybet. I know Bet Victor are paying 4 places. I think Betway, there's quite a few firms paying 4 places. So if you still can get the 11-1 out there, I think that's a great each way shout tomorrow. And there's not too many mares in here that I think are capable really of improving that much. There's a few exposed types, and also as well, yes, there's a few horses maybe going up in trip markedly, but they haven't shown that much ability in my opinion, and I don't think they will improve that much. Whereas Kentford Mallard is now well handicapped. She's now £3 below that winning mark when she won here a couple of years ago, and with the £3 as well from Daniel Sampson, that's going to help too. So a lot of things in this horse's favour tomorrow, and I think she will relish going up in trip, tackling 3 miles for the first time in her career. So that's going to be my long shot of the day. We then end with our final tip, which runs on weather at Wolverhampton under the floodlights tomorrow in the 7:30 with a horse called Champs de Reves. Now this horse is currently 4-1 with bookmakers at the moment for Megan Nichols, claiming 3, and she's riding for Michael Blake tomorrow. Now this horse, last time we saw him, he finished second at Bath behind Singing the Blues, who'd been on a real roll during the summer, been putting a few wins together. But if you look at the wider form of that, it's worked out not too badly. As a 3rd place horse that day was a horse called Prince Imperial for Richard Hughes. He was a winner at Bath last week, so there's been a nice boosting to that form. And this horse has been running some good races in defeat this season. And I still think, even though he is off a mark of 74, and he will need probably a career best to defy this mark, he's more than capable of doing it. He won off a mark of 73 under Megan Nichols last year at Chelmsford, so that's a positive there. And the way the race might set up for him tomorrow could be quite well suited. There's going to be quite a bit of pace up front, I think, tomorrow. And if they do go hard early, I think it could definitely put his stamina into play. You can currently back him at 4-1 tomorrow at the moment. I just think there's a lot in his favour. He's got a good draw as well in stall 2, so he ticks quite a lot of boxes tomorrow. And I think, like I said, if they do go hard early on, he might be able to pick up the pieces. And I think at 4-1, like I said, with the form he's been showing of late and that form at Bath, he's a major player and is not to be underestimated in that race tomorrow. So there rounds off the 5 tips for tomorrow's racing. Quickly just recap them all. In the 2:20 at Pontefract, we go with Staghorn, 7-4 win only bet. In the 3:40 at Plumpton, we go with the next best, which is Gateway to Europe for Bryony Frost and Neil King, 7-2 win only bet. In the 5:05 at Gowran, we go with Wolf Prince, 4-1 win only bet for Gavin Cromwell. In the 5:10 at Plumpton, the long shot of the day is Kentford Mallard, 11-1 each way with the 4 places on offer with the likes of Skybet and that. So make sure you search for those extra places if you can. And then with our final tip of the day is another extra tip, runs in the 7:30 at Wolverhampton with a horse called Champs de Reves. So yep, they're the 5 tips for tomorrow's racing. If you're enjoying these videos, please remember to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel here at Lucky Loads 15. Also as well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And also as well, if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, my website is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.